So Nosferatu released the trailer. It was initially in front of bike riders or the bike riders.
Mhm.
It was going around as a leaked video for quite a long time. It wasn't something I was interested in watching as a leaked video, actually. People sent it to me. I didn't watch it. I wasn't interested. I wanted to watch it in all of its glory because this is a movie which I'm personally looking forward to. So I wanted to watch it as it was intended in good quality, and it didn't disappoint. Now, we can't show the trailer because it is copyright blocked. It will take the video down, the stream. It will mess around with the stream. So we can't show it, but we've all watched it. And so I thought we would talk about it. And we've got some sort of reference points here, I guess, from this article. One big surprise. I didn't know this. It's releasing Christmas Day. Love that. I think that's brilliant. That's absolutely fantastic. Succumb to the darkness at Christmas. That's brilliant. Good counter programming. I think that will really work. We've got some Willem Dafoe here as the professor. Obviously, one of the old images of Lily Rose Depp. What did you guys think of it? What did you guys think of the trailer overall?
I'm going to fire off first, Tom. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say I like the trailer. Thought it was brilliant. I think it's well done. I think Eggers is probably the right guy for this project. Hopefully the movie is not too long. I haven't looked into what the run length is. And I think I agree with you 1,000%. Christmas is a terrible time to release a horror film like this. I would have done it closer to Halloween.
I think it's a good time. I said good counter programming. Agreeing with me.
And I said, you're 100% wrong. It should be out in October. I'm going to tell you this. Lily Rose Depp might actually work for this role. Willem Dafoe looks brilliant. Cannot wait for that. And unfortunately, we didn't get to see a real representation of the vampire.
No, unfortunately, that's good. Do you want it all shown in the trailers, Culture?
I almost finished. I think that the images I've seen are brilliant, knockout, wonderful. So I'm very much looking forward to this. I just was looking forward to it around Halloween. So,
nah, man, what I
gotta lean into what Culture's saying here. Maybe it's because, and this is where like I've seen Americans agree on this, and some of the Canadians are kind of ambivalent about it, but like. Other people are like you, Nate, that are not in the. Maybe Halloween doesn't mean as much over there. I don't know.
We don't care.
That's probably why, because I agree with Culture. This is one mistake we make here, time and time and time again. For some reason, they'll release these really cool horror movies in like November and December when we're not in the mood for them, and that's generally kind of why they flop.
But there is a thing of counter programming, right? Like.
There is, but it really makes no sense to release a really big horror film after Halloween here. When it gets Christmas time, we want to go see shit like Home Alone.
But this is the thing. I don't think this is going to be. I don't think it is a big. I mean, it's not quintessentially a big horror film. Is
no,
it? Like,
but it's a bigger horror film than like a Halloween or a Chucky movie or something like that. I'm getting at.
No, to us it does. Not to other people. Not to normies. To us,
this is the kind of horror movie that'll get normies in the theater, though. That's my point. Like Renfield was another one. Like I didn't understand why they released it when it did, because I think Culture and I agreed it would have been a perfect Halloween film.
Yeah, I mean, we'll wait and see. I mean, it's.
But that being said, I love this trailer. Like I'm looking forward to it. I did watch the leak. The only thing I've got to say is why isn't Willem Dafoe playing the vampire again? That's my only complaint, because he looks like Max Schreck.
True, but Bill Skarsgård, I think, is going to do some absolutely great.
He might. We'll have yet to see it, but yeah. Which one is Bill again?
Look at the imagery's brilliant, though, isn't it?
There's a lot of
great.
It's incredibly well shot.
Well.
Absolutely,
and again, that
incredibly well shot.
The color grading is perfect, and this is the proper use of light and dark. And I mean, we don't get that very often. Oftentimes, we're complaining that the darkness and everything is being there to hide CGI. This is physically beautiful. I'm very excited for this.
Well, here we get. This is a one and only glimpse, realistically, of the vampire. And you can sit here, like you can see towering figure. And that's basically it. That's all we get.
Well, I will say this to Culture's point. I just looked up because Bram Stoker's Dracula was the last time I remembered them doing something like this, a high profile, similar story. They released it during Thanksgiving so they could get some Oscar buzz. But what it did is it did very well overseas, did okay in the US, but I think it could have done better. I think Culture's right, because that was one of the few times back then, because that came out in 92. So the global audience wasn't such a thing yet, but it did like twice as much almost overseas that it did in the US. It did okay in the US. It did 80 million, but
this is another shot. This is another shot of the Count. Just again, a real quick one.
I'm not sure about the hair. Hey, the hair. I'm not sure about that. Is that what that is?
No, you can see like his skull is.
Is that his? Okay, I wasn't sure because it looked like he was wearing like hair.
You know, there's some hair there, but here's decay and rotting. So here's hair, rotting flesh here. As he turns, you can see that it's all wet and shiny and just nasty. And then there's one last shot which I really do like. This one with the wolves. I love the imagery. It's amazing. Like Robert Eggers is the man for this. Absolutely the man for this. And you know what's interesting about this is I think they've done a really good job on the sort of color grading with trying to make it look more old style. So this might make sense to some people, it might not to others. But with modern digital cameras, blacks are just black, right? And so you don't get like a lot of this sort of depth, and like here there's all the sort of artifacting and the sort of noise, and it looks low, or well, to a degree, kind of low grade. But that's what you want with an older style film. Like you want the sort of the blacks to be a little bit blotchy here and there, rather than that sort of just crisp, clear look. Which is too artificial. I don't know if anyone else, you agree, disagree?
No, I agree with you 100%. I mean, this does look like they're aiming for an older look, right, Tom?
Looks good.
Yeah. That shot with the reflected in the lighting in the fire. You know, I mean that is amazing. Just truly. I can't wait. It looks it looks like $1 million. It really does.
I think this will do really well. Like really, like there's this bit as well.
Yeah, all the dead rats.
Pigeon.
What I think is funny is Nicholas Hoult is ostensibly playing the Renfield character, although they do separate the two in this story. Because for those who don't know, like in the original Dracula, they combined Renfield and what's his face from the beginning, Jonathan or whatever. And in this story, there's still two separate characters, but basically Nicholas Hoult is still playing the Jonathan-esque character. So he's still basically playing the same role.
Yeah. It is funny. It's
kind of cool in that respect, but yeah. And if you haven't seen Renfield, I can still recommend it. It was fun. I don't care.
I like Renfield. I do think this would. I think it will do well at Christmas.
I hope really so. Do. I see where culture's coming from though, and we do have this thing in the U.S. where we're not into counter, entertainment options so much in the wintertime and the Christmas time periods. There's been a whole bunch of
movies that have released at Christmas though, that horror movies. They've done well.
They've done okay. But even Scream was one that used to bother us back in the day because they would always try and release those later. The first one came out in December. The second one, I think, came out in I think they managed to get that one out by September. But the same thing with the third one was released in January. And it's what are you doing? Maybe it's just a U.S. thing, and maybe they should just start doing that more often in the U.S. And I think they'd have a little bit better, because you also have that extra time period to get just that extra oomph out of the tickets, because everybody wants to go see a scary movie on Halloween. And that's why they keep re-releasing the original Halloween every damn year, because it makes another $1 million or more.
Well, Gremlins
every
was
Halloween
on
weekend.
Christmas.
No, it was. It was released in the summer. Maybe in the UK it was released in Christmas. Because it was released June 6th, the same day as Ghostbusters here.
Yeah, that is what I saw. But then I'm looking at another one. Maybe this list is wrong.
It got adopted as a Christmas movie. Same thing with Die Hard. Die Hard was also released in the summer. But like Home Alone was one that was released for Christmas, is a good example of how, the Santa Claus is another good one. Like, that's generally the type of stuff they try to bring out. And I get it. Some counter programming can be good. And it might do well. I hope it does. I really do. And Bram Stoker's Dracula did okay, but it just didn't do as well here in the U.S. as it did outside the U.S. That was my point. And that's where I think that divide is between the U.S. audience and other countries, to where Halloween's a big deal here. It's almost as popular as Christmas now. So,
yeah.
And one of the big things about it is just horror movies. So, yeah.
I think I honestly do think the counter programming will work in its favor. Even if it's not, it's only one day anyway, right? Fine, sure.
Oh no, you're right. I'm not disagreeing with either one of you. That's what I'm saying. I agree with both points. And I hope it gets some Oscar buzz more than anything. I mean, looking at it, it almost makes me wish they shot it on film, but that's probably my only complaint, is you can tell it was shot digitally, but because they're still just not quite there yet. They're getting close. But it's just not quite the same. But it looks great. It's one of the better looking films I've seen since probably last year's, besides Dune, last year's Agatha Christie one with, what's his face? The Poirot movie. Forgot the name. It was the Halloween Party, but I can't remember what they called it.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
It was a horrible title. A Murder in Venice or something like that it was called. I can't remember now. Most people didn't even realize it was a third part of the trilogy or whatever, but yeah.
Haunting in Venice.
Haunting in Venice, thank you.
I'm trying to find out how much this cost. I can't find it.
Oh, I'm sure it was at least $100 million, I bet. By the looks of it.
Robert Eggers films have not cost that much, to be fair. They've not been huge films.
Well, for his sake, I hope if it's not that expensive, he can make his money back quickly. It's Focus Features, it's Universal, so they'll probably drop it on Peacock, so it won't have any probably deals to help it make any money on the back end, right?
And yeah, no, you're 100% right, and I can't imagine this film costing more than $50 million. I mean,
if they did it for 50, 60 million, I'd be impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine they did a lot of on location stuff. They probably still have substantial sets available to them.
Just to clarify, Tom, this was shot on film, mate.
Oh,
that's why it looks like that.
I was going to say, because it looked good. It looked good. I was trying to, okay. That makes sense then.
Yeah, I mean, they shot this.
Well, that added a little bit of money to the budget right there.
But they shot it in the Czech Republic.
I see 40 or 50 here is what I have reported. So that's you guys are pretty much in line then. And if they shot it overseas somewhere else, then they could have got away with that.
Yeah,
and if they actually used real structures and not sets and stuff, then that'd save some money.
Yeah, they shot on location at a 14th century castle.
There you go.
I think it's Vlad the Impaler's castle. I think that's
there you go. Now I'm even more excited for this film. Now I want to find a 70mm presentation of it somewhere.
Yeah. Yes. Wait, I can't do it like the Star Wars lady. Yes. Yes. Yeah, there you go.
I want to encourage that. I love the idea of still shooting on film. I don't care if you finish it off and post on digital, but just even some of the, like Oppenheimer's a good example, that Wes Anderson film. I didn't really get into the movie, but that
you mean Asteroid City?
Yeah, that one was good, but or I didn't watch the whole thing, but it looked good. The other one I'm trying to think of is that Hollywood movie where it's all about the debauchery and shit that was shot on film. Oh god, it has a weird name, but it looked amazing. But I quit watching it after the elephant shat on the guy. I'm like, okay, enough of that.
I love it. Well, I've got a lot of, I don't know, regardless how this film does, I don't actually care, quite frankly. I think this is going to be a great film.
Nicholas Hoult looks good, man. Look at that. He looks like he's from the 1800s.
See,
why is it actors can still pull that off, but actresses can't? What is it with that?
Well,
yeah, see, this building is Vlad the Impaler's castle.
So that's all real. That's not CGI.
Yeah. Nope, real building.
God, could you imagine shooting this? And I'd be flipping out. You think they shot it day for night and then color graded it?
No, they did this at night, I bet.
Wow, man, that'd be spooky AF.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I don't know. Maybe you're right, Culture, because the shadow there, I don't know. It might have been day for night, and then they processed it. See, I wonder if that moon is actually, I don't know if that sky is real. I think Culture might be right. They shot day for night because they're looking at that shadow.
Well, no, that could be the sun. That's the thing.
Well, that's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah, because that just looks like a purple grading.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Anyway, bit of positivity on
yeah.
No, I'm sure Andre's looking forward to this too. I know this is one he's really been
we've
got excited for.
Sorry.
We've got a super chat here from Scott Hughes for $5. Says horror at Christmas is like Slayer playing a Taylor Swift.
See, the Americans get it, right? And I can see the divide. I can totally see the divide.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't care either way. I'm game for this. I'm massively game. So yeah.
The only exceptions, Mr. H, would be like Black Christmas or Silent Night, Deadly Night, where you're literally mashing the two, right? Like, yeah.
We got from my Nulleth fell off. Says, which one do you like better, an American Werewolf in London or Dog Soldiers? Dog Soldiers.
American
Absolutely,
Werewolf.
Dog Soldiers, hands down.
Werewolf in London.
Really, guys?
Yeah. It's a classic.
Swine.
It's a classic. Wow.
Dog Soldiers is a classic. Never mind.
Blue Moon.